PodQuest.
Zencaster will clap for us.
I'm rolling on a backup. Do we want to clap? Do you just want to clap for fun?
Danny did clap, so.
Well, but we got to clap at the same time.
I know, but he just clapped anyway, which I think is very good.
All right, Danny, open up time.is.
It's time.is. That's what we call it.
Dude, my clock is 2.3 seconds behind.
Mine is 0.045 seconds. Oh, no,
I'm
wait, no,
sure
0.3 seconds ahead. I'm in the future, dog.
I'm sure we're looking at the same time, probably.
Let's count on the minute. All right, 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we clapped at the same time.
It's very distracting with you counting in my head and then me trying to look at the time.
It was close enough.
I've never once counted that down before either.
Thank you.
Literally never once.
All of this is staying in the episode. I hope you guys know that, because this thing we read, it's like 8 pages.
Red is a strong word, Neil.
There's like 7.5 sentences to this thing, so we got a lot of time to fill. I'm gonna go no edit on this too. No edits. So
okay, so all of these pregnant pauses, where we just sort of let it roll.
Well, that was me hitting mute on my microphone to clear my throat. Thanks for calling me out. To save myself an edit.
I don't know, man. You're the one creating your own problems here, dude.
Danny's here, everybody.
Oh, I was waiting for an intro. I know I already spoke, and I know the people already heard my voice.
That's never stopped us.
No,
but
we've been doing this for we're coming up on 3 years. We still don't know how to do a proper intro for a friend who comes on the show, or for ourselves when we start,
or an enemy,
or there are a few enemies have been on. I'll let the listeners figure out which ones we like and which ones we don't.
So, Danny, you do a lot of podcasts.
Holy shit.
I
heard that can crack.
Oh, can I do mine? I actually bought, so this is going to be real stupid. But
this is great. This is perfect. Wow, that was a good one.
That was a good can crack.
So,
all right, let me do mine now.
Okay.
I don't have one.
That was like a transformer.
Yeah, it's my Monster Energy drink just transformed and rolled out of here.
So you guys always talk about like drinks and different flavored Cokes and stuff.
Yeah, it's most of the show.
Yeah, which I appreciate. I like, but I don't drink as much soda as I used to, or even energy drinks or caffeinated drinks, just because entropy and death. But
understandable concerns to have.
So this morning, I was like, well, I want to crack something. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. They sell water in a can now. So I just got some Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
This podcast is brought to you by
Liquid. Use code VORPAX at checkout for free water.
Use code HBO Max at checkout.
Yell VORPAX at 7-Eleven as you're walking out with it. See what happens.
Yeah, as you steal Liquid Death off the shelves.
I will say my brother saw the cans on the fridge and he's like, why didn't you bring the sparkling water one?
Yeah, I have a true story about this from this week, but please continue, Danny.
No, and then I was just like, oh, you don't understand. You can, if I don't use these cans, you can have them, because I prefer my water out of a bottle.
Okay.
But we'll see how this goes. I've never had Liquid Death, so.
Danny, famously a big fan of microplastics, and
I do also like the idea that it's like, well, I've stopped drinking pop because of entropy. So allow me to drink the liquefaction of the concept of dying. That'll fix it.
It's a cool name. It's got a cool logo.
Look, man, they had a good branding department. I'm not here to deny that.
Can's pretty sick. And it comes from the mountains too, so wherever that means.
Has somebody been pulled over for driving poorly?
Okay. All right, I have a story to tell, but let's good.
I have one more joke. It's fine. Just give me a second. Right, has anyone ever been pulled over for driving poorly, and then to fuck with the police, they just have Liquid Death in the car, and they have 3 cans open, and they're just like, "What's the problem, officer?"
So this premise you've set up, are they intentionally driving poorly, or are they naturally just poor drivers?
They happen to have Liquid Death with them.
But you said they did it to fuck with the officer. So
yeah,
they're like, look, I know I'm a bad. Driver.
Driving.
So while I'm poorly driving, something I can't help,
Yeah.
I'm going to open a bunch of cans of water that look like beer cans from 10 feet away.
Yeah, they just got their license.
Okay. So
let's go with that.
So they're just
version of
dumbasses.
this. Maybe.
All right.
You lost me at the idea of intentionally fucking with the police.
Right. The whole premise, honestly, wasn't fully thought out. And it might be because you feel like I interrupted you, even though I didn't.
Well, I mean, who was talking first?
All right.
Who's talking now?
Danny, hit that water.
Who's on second?
Tell us how it
Oh yeah, let me
feels. Whoa.
Bro.
Refreshing.
I hope somebody's got the earphones on and they really... Is this an ASMR podcast? I don't know what the difference is between that and the regular ones.
Yeah, this is sometimes an ASMR podcast. Sometimes I go.
I'd say rarely, but
and now before you get into your story, Neil, because I do want to hear it.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta find a piece of paper to crumble into the microphone.
This is the Crew Expendable one.
No, this is the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, they made another one. Oh, cool. Okay.
No. It's the other. It's the other one.
Oh, the F1.
Go ahead.
I don't know anything about F1.
It's the F1.
This is Neil's personal D&D group.
This is technically being recorded on Zencaster on my personal D&D group's RSS feed because I'm fucking gaming the system. You think you can charge me, Zencaster? Fuck no.
Ooh, I mean,
anyway,
we can create characters now.
We might. Honestly,
okay, I'll be Neil.
We might need to run a little one-shot Danger Room D&D game here just to fill the time.
We can only pick characters from the stuff we read, though.
Okay. Dibs on the weirdly accurate Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa drawing.
I feel like you got to roll for it, Neil.
Just rolled a nat 20.
I didn't hear a die roll.
Corey, you also cracked a can, didn't you?
Yeah, it's Coke Zero. Let's not get carried away.
All right. Okay. All right.
Sometimes you just drink something, just to sort of drink it. Also, really quick. Yeah, Danny, I know that we did ultimately offer you like the lesser of the available podcast, but we appreciate you coming on anyway.
More time for conversation.
Yeah, we can get into that later, but I do want to hear Neil's story.
Neil, right? Neil, you have a story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to tell it now or do you want to tell it after?
I might not tell it at all, honestly.
Are you sure?
No, I'll tell it now. It's Liquid Death related.
You want to tell it now?
And it's not like a good story. Like at this point, like it was an anecdote, and I should have just...
You're the one that said you had a story.
Said it earlier. Well, all right. So bottom line, I was at a 7-Eleven at the end of the day, like 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. It doesn't really matter. And I was looking at I was like, I need something to drink. I got a bit of a drive home. It's fucking hot because Florida is on fire. Not literally on fire, but like our oceans are 100 degrees right now. And I was like,
hold on. Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah, Fahrenheit.
Okay.
No, that's Celsius. It's boiling.
That is extremely hot for the oceans to be, just to be clear.
No, okay. I know, but you know what's even hotter, Neil?
Right. Yeah.
Florida is just soup, fish soup right now.
It is. It kind of is. All right. Well, you know what? That's grim. I don't want to. That kept me up last night until like 3 a.m. So anyway,
like the fear.
Yeah, just all of the.
Do you want to talk about that instead of your story, or do you want to tell your story?
I want to rip through this fucking story because I was looking for a drink and I was just like, I need the opposite of an energy drink right now, which is
sleepy time tea.
Well, I think most from a health standpoint, it's a glass of water, right? But I wanted a little something fizzy, so I went to the Liquid Death aisle, right? And I grabbed the Mango Chainsaw Seltzer. Okay.
The what?
It's called Mango Chainsaw. It is mango
from
flavored.
The people that make Liquid Death, or some like what?
It is Liquid Death sparkling water, and the flavored name of this Liquid Death is Mango Chainsaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was fucking delicious, but it was in like a gold can, right, with like the black Liquid Death shit all over it.
Would the police trust you less if you were drinking it behind the wheel of a car?
Well, I went to the register to check out, and the lady instinctively grabbed a brown paper bag to put it in.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Are
I don't know. Corey, do you understand what's going on there?
do you
Yeah,
have
it's just it's for booze, presumably.
Right.
We can't buy booze at gas stations, but
Yeah, that's really weird. But
wait, what, Neil? You don't want to take a trip to the LCBO or the beer store?
do you have a whole beer store? I mean,
It's called the beer store. Surely I've told you that. It's literally called the beer store.
We also have beer stores. They're not called that. We have liquor stores, and then we have stores that are just like,
yeah, but mine's like
a whole
run
bunch
by
of beers.
Mine would be as if you guys had a store called the beer store that was also run by the state.
Right. Well, isn't that what ABC liquor is here?
I don't know.
What? The government sells you alcohol?
ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. I think
there has been a small growth into some grocery stores, but buying at the grocery store has been so unpopular so far. Like, people want it to be able to do that, but it hasn't really taken off. So some grocery stores are actually closing their booze aisles. But the LCBO stands for the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. It's been around for like a very long time, I guess, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a provincially run business that handles all the sale of liquor, and like there's some beer in there, but whatever. And then there's the beer store, which is the equivalent, but it just does beer.
Gotcha. I'm 100% wrong about ABC, by the way.
That's fine.
That was just started in Orlando, Florida.
Just for fun.
Okay. The company has, see, here's the confusion. The company has no relation to the state-run alcoholic beverage control. So there's a beverage control commission with the same
abbreviation,
ABC, and they have their own stores, but the ABC chain is not related. All right. So I was, I think that was a forgivable confusion on my part.
We'll see. We'll let the listeners decide.
Yeah, on Spotify, there's a poll.
Yeah.
Was that a forgivable confusion?
Christ. Danny.
Is Neil canceled after this one?
Yeah.
This is what finally got me. Yeah, not the time I thought Red Shoe Diaries was a USA show and not a fucking Cinemax show or whatever it actually was.
You've been digging a hole for a long time.
I really have. This is a problem. Danny.
One of our worst intros of a guest potentially ever.
Danny, tell people about your podcast while they're still listening.
Yeah, right. Don't go anywhere. So I have we started as a podcast called the Next Issue Podcast. And it just kind of evolved. The fact that we couldn't record in person made it evolve into a YouTube channel.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, this YouTube thing is actually fun. So we kind of kept doing it. So yeah, the Next Issue Podcast you can find on YouTube. We talk about all kinds of stuff, comics mainly, but movies, TV shows, game. Oh, not just one game.
Just a single. There's just one game.
Single game.
It's just Gotham Knights.
Oh man, that's funny. I haven't played that. That's one of the ones I haven't played.
I haven't either. I almost bought it last night.
I did buy it. I bought that stupid collector's edition that was not worth it because the statue it's super light. It's made out of like some very cheap material as opposed to some of the other collectibles that I've gotten from them.
Sure, yeah.
So that was a disappointment. But yeah, we just kind of hang out. At the moment, if you're listening to this podcast, I don't know. Hopefully the strike's over, but I doubt it because
no,
I doubt it.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I don't know when this is going out, but I doubt it. So we're not doing any new content just to show solidarity. But we're gonna be digging back into some old stuff and like old comics and stuff like that.
And you've been doing like shorts and reviews and stuff of older things for a while now. You do about plus or minus 78 YouTube videos a day. Is that about right?
That sounds right. Yeah, it depends on the day of the week, but if it's anything closer to the weekend, like I get a lot of stuff done, and then I have a regular daytime job. Unfortunately,
sure.
I guess fortunately for me, but unfortunately for my creative endeavors,
gets in the way of the grind.
It really does, man. I'm just like, I need to get out of here. Trailers need to be watched.
You also so. Next issue, we're going to put a link to that down in the show notes and on mortalkombatconquest.ca. You pretty frequently turn up on the I Read Comic Books podcast too, don't you?
Yeah, as of about a year ago, we so I had been listening to IRCB for a long time. I was just a long time listener, and then there was a Discord, and there's a really nice community there. And I just became friends with Mike, who's the main host. He started the podcast, and he has contributors that just kind of rotate in and out. And then he asked me to be on about a year, just on a more regular basis. So that was nice. It's cool. Like I any excuse to talk about comic books.
Sure, yeah.
Which is why I was very upset to find out you guys only do non-canon stuff, because those MKA books, like, they need to be talked about.
The Mortal Kombat 10 series.
Yeah.
They're just a little too good for what we cover in terms of comics on this show.
Listen, after what we read today, I definitely agree with you.
Now, before we get too deep here, I do want to ask a question then, and this is purely to put you on the spot. This is purely because I know you probably didn't prepare anything, which is maybe unfair of me, but you have carved out this these avenues where you spend much of your time talking about comics, which means I need you to give both me and the listener a sense of what your taste is. Give me 3 books. That's like this. We're going Danny mode.
Because you and we had to do that for our Mortal Kombat comics kickoff.
Okay. Well, Corey, looking for you. I'm always prepared with a list.
It's tattooed on the inside of your arm. I should have thought about that.
Yeah. So, like, if I ever go missing, people know what to read. If I'm ever found, they'll know what to read.
Tattooing your allergies on your wrist like people do, right? Your medical issues. It's just like The Boys.
I have an RFID chip in my hand.
Saga.
With links to Comixology.
If you scan the chip, it installs Comixology on your phone.
Ancient Magus Bride. Those are like the things that...
I am updating it because Comixology sucks.
God, they fucking ruined that app.
Oh, I didn't know I was opening up a source.
Holy shit. They just made it the fucking Kindle app. And it sucks. It's impossible to browse and discover new shit. You can't find things by publisher. I have to lean on that thing so hard for the Alien show too.
And books, like comic books, just don't read the same way as prose. So it's like the fact that they're not developing something separate.
I mean, the guided view still works, but the interface, the browsing, the library features, they just fucked it up.
It's not as bad on the iPad, which is what I mainly use anyways. But still,
I have a big phone, so
just a big phone. Oh,
yeah.
I was picturing like a thing with a rotodialer and stuff that you carry around.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly it. No, I have a folding phone. Pretty great to read.
Not a flipping phone. Crucially, this is a folding phone.
This is a foldable. It's called a foldable.
It's not flippable. It's foldable.
It's foldable.
I'll answer your question in a second, Corey, but how long have you had that phone, Neil?
Neil is going to be so glad you asked.
I've had it now for a year, and about 9 months into owning it, I started having problems. The speaker went bad when it was open, like when it was unfolded, and the screen started to, like the overlay screen protector over that started to peel.
Okay.
And they repaired it for free, thank God. But if I had to pay out of pocket, it would have been like $500 to get that replaced. Jeez. So
that was always my concern, and I don't think I'll ever like change from an iPhone. But that was that was just something I was interested in. I see people like with the folding phones, and I'm like, the wear and tear on it has to be like the worst.
It really, honestly, like I mean, I work in construction. Like it gets. It's in unsafe environments daily. None of that stuff, I think, contributed to the problem. It was just a defect with the front camera overheating, and that's what caused the speaker to go out, and that's what they repaired for free. So, other than that, I've been happy. It's surprisingly durable, and I'm never going back, unfortunately. I also want to say I got this thing cheap. Like they gave me like a ridiculous trade-in deal. They gave me $900 for my old phone towards this thing. And the old phone was a Galaxy Note 10 Plus that I think I paid $300 for in the first place.
No,
So it was just a fucking steal. They were just trying to clear out the model to
gotcha.
make room for the 4. This is a 3. But
All right.
there's no going back. I had to when it busted, I had to use like a Motorola for like 2
like a
months.
razor. You still had your razor?
Yeah, it was an old.
Ago?
It was actually the riser. It was the slide up. No,
your sidekick.
but I had to use like a regular phone, and it was still a large regular phone because it was the stylus one, and I fucking hated it. And I was like, I need my gigantic fucking screen. I can't do this. I can't live this way anymore.
What a terrible world you were in.
Yeah, I had different problems back then than I do now.
Simpler times. But Corey, back to your question.
Sure.
So here's 3 books that I think are on the top of my stuff that really define me as a reader. So the first one is Batman: The Court of Owls. And I'm talking about
I've heard of that.
The full thing. So it's like about, I think it's 11 issues or 11 or 12 issues.
Yeah.
This was one of the things that when I started reading comics back in 2012, like that's when I started really reading, like, and collecting and all that stuff. I have read stuff before that, but that was just, they had just relaunched Batman, and that was the title that I started reading because I've always liked Batman.
That was that was the first Batman arc of New 52, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Court of Owls, very fucking good. Scott
really
Snyder.
Good. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo on art. Like, man, if you like some of those Spawn from the late 90s, early aughts, like that was Greg Capullo.
Sure.
Oh man, sick. It's just really cool to see all that. And then the Court of Owls is pretty cool. Like they've used them a bunch of times in multiple adaptations of media. I think the Gotham Knights show that just got canceled, unfortunately. So very cool. The next book is Matt Fraction's run on Hawkeye, from around the same time, which is kind of what they based the Hawkeye show on. It's just really good. Like, you don't even need to know anything about Hawkeye. Like, it tells you everything you need to know. It's a really fun story. It's about 25 issues for the full run, but it's just really good comics. Like, it's very well made comics. He uses a rotating cast of artists depending on what type of story he's telling during their run. So really good.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't read that one personally, but I've only heard good things about that.
Matt Fraction is one of the only comics writers I've read a full book from, and it wasn't that, but I can at least I can attest to his abilities.
He was doing Fantastic Four and FF for a while there, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I read those. I was a big Fantastic Four fan for a while.
He's got
Jonathan Hickman stuff got me in.
Oof, that's Jonathan Hickman's really good at bringing in people. That's why they keep giving him titles. He also did a short Captain America run with Chris Samney, who just draws like the most beautiful Captain America. And it's really good. Like, it was just an in between writers. They just gave him a run.
Nice. We do love a beautiful Captain America on this podcast.
We do. That's America's ass. And then the third book is I Kill Giants. This is an independent book from Image Comics by Joe Kelly and Ken Nomura.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I haven't read it.
It's 7 issues. In 2018, it was adapted into a film as well, but I read it way before that. And it's just a really interesting story about this girl who believes that she sees giants and it's her duty to kill them, but nobody believes her. And then she's also dealing with some issues because her mom's sick and, she doesn't have anybody else. She's kind of an outcast. And it was just a really beautiful story. Like, I started reading the first issue and I couldn't stop, like, when I started reading it. So highly recommend that one. They're, content warning for somebody having an illness. So if that's not your jam, I definitely get it. But yeah, those are the 3 that I would say, like, and then, then there's more stuff like edgy stuff like The Dark Knight Returns and stuff like that.
Right.
From,
the classics, so to speak.
Yeah. And then The Watchmen and even more stuff from nowadays, like more recent stuff. But those are 3 things that I would give to any new reader. because I feel they're very accessible, but they also like are top of the things that I think describe what my tastes are, and it's ever evolving because there's
Sure,
so
yeah.
much content. Uh, but manga's cool too. Like I love manga.
This podcast also at least now has value in that people have learned something, not just about Danny, but also things they could go potentially try.
Yeah.
It's the upper limit of what people are going to get out of this anyway.
Sure. This is a Mortal Kombat show. Despite the past like 4 episodes being about, I think, in order, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Dead or Alive, Death to the Supermodels, and Poison Ivy 3, The New Seduction.
Yeah.
If this somehow turned into also just keep talking about Jamie Presley,
yeah,
I would.
Yeah. Well, we could find a way to talk about her this episode. She is still producer of the show,
that's right.
As everybody knows. Danny, what's your history with Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, you do all the talking and the heavy lifting, and we're just gonna sit here and hang out.
We just want to get to know. We just, that's why Danny's on. We need to fill minutes.
We don't have a quota. Do we have some sort of executive breathing down our neck?
It'd be Jamie fucking Presley.
I guess we did. Look, it's been a couple of weeks. We just set this up.
She really wants us to get to the mom episodes. So
she kept showing Neil like fucking the retention rates of the listeners, Chip.
Yeah.
And she was not the graphs. She was not happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some.
Just getting an email with the subject line that says the graphs are bad.
And then Neil just did it like in the Super Bowl commercial.
Just Jamie from me at jamiepresley.com. It says the graphs are bad.
In the body of the email, it just says fix the graphs.
Fix the graphs.
And so Neil just turned them around like the monkeys in that Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it worked. Okay, that's why we're allowed to talk about this right now. This 8-page thing we haven't identified yet for the listeners, but they know. They saw the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mortal Kombat. So I think my first memory of it is definitely the Super Nintendo game. So maybe the second one.
Okay.
Or it was whichever one. So I'm really bad at remembering which game it was, but it's whichever one you could do the cheat code that would let you do a 1-button fatality or friendship and stuff like that.
If it had, that was Mortal Kombat 2 for sure.
Okay. Then it was that one. So
nice.
I don't really know how we got the game because I don't think it's something my parents would have bought for us.
Right.
But then
did you steal it? Did you guys just like go?
No. I think so. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Mexico, but so my cousins would send us games sometimes and stuff. I like because it's always easier to get it, or well, at least it was easier to get over here. Now it's with world markets, but yeah, I think maybe it just came with some stuff they sent us like for Christmas or something. I think because I remember
what a good Christmas that would be,
dude. Oh man, I remember playing that one a lot. I remember playing the Ninja Turtles game a lot, the side scroller. And then the Marvel Infinity Gems game, which I think is also a side scroller.
Oh damn.
And then a Street Fighter game because we had one of those controllers that lets you do the turbo by just like clicking a little lever.
So then you just like pick Chun-Li and just keep that kick going forever.
Well, no, you pick Blanca and then do the electricity.
There you go.
The highest, the one that you can't manually do because there's no way you can push that button that fast because it's at the top.
Right.
Then you do that one, and the range is insane on that. But yeah, as far as Mortal Kombat, like that was it. I mean, we would just spend hours killing each other and doing fatalities and stuff.
Yeah. Was it ever like, dude, stop, stay still, don't move, I'm trying to do the fatality? Was it like that kind of because that was my childhood experience.
Yeah, at first it was because we didn't have the cheat code, but then at some point we got I don't know if it was a Game Informer or it was some kind of magazine that just had all the things.
Sounds like a Game Pro to me.
Yeah, but it was Mortal Kombat specific.
Okay.
I remember because when we moved here, I pack that with me. And in high school, they made us wear like ID badges. So I cut out a picture of Shang Tsung and then taped it on my picture on top of it.
They made you wear a badge to your school?
Dude, yeah, like an ID badge. Like
my high school tried to make us do that shit. Dude.
Why?
Probably the same reason we had to walk through metal detectors and stuff
to
keep us safe.
Because post Columbine, or
it got that serious,
or along with Columbine. Yeah, we had. Yeah. I definitely.
Your
we didn't have
metal
detectors.
Detector?
We didn't have metal detectors at my high school, but we had ID badges we were supposed to fucking wear for like the first 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, public school in Texas, we had a lot. We had metal detectors. We had to get our bags checked. It was not. I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. It wasn't bad, I don't think either, but I think it was just their idea of keeping kids safe, which that I don't know. I don't want to get into that much.
Yeah, this is not what we brought. I just find that interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I had like student cards, but it was just sort of like to have. Like you didn't need it for anything.
Oh yeah.
It was just like a thing you could have.
I remember we had to have ours clipped on, invisible for a while there.
Yeah.
You don't
had to wear badges.
Fucking the what's an important place that might need a badge? The
Pentagon?
The Smithsonian.
I don't know.
Not if you're visiting though, just if you work there at the Smithsonian.
I just watched National Treasure and Nick Cage just waltzed right in.
He does, yeah.
With an ID badge that he printed himself.
With an ID badge of Shang Tsung on it, and they're like, "Dude, that's hard as fuck."
I'll try to find the picture of it. The Shang Tsung picture that I use, not the ID badge.
But you've just reminded me. I did a job where I worked doing like roads and grounds maintenance on a military base for the government. And we also had cards because we had to get security clearances to go to certain areas to cut the grass.
Damn.
And so what me and a couple of my friends on that crew did is we instead of having our ID in there, we put Yu-Gi-Oh cards in it.
Nice.
And once we were going to like an area that required the ID badge, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have it. I just have Yu-Gi-Oh cards."
Like, yeah, I need to cut the grass in here. I am Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I'm Dark Magician Girl. I don't know.
I do want to ask Corey, which card did you have? Which was
your... I don't remember because these were not cards from like a personal collection. This was I went to the dollar store by my house and there was like a bootleg third-party seller that was selling packs of 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So it just sort of rotated very regularly.
It was just whatever it was.
Yeah, and like if they got too like scuffed and fucked up, I would just like swap them around. So
that's fun. Nobody gets hurt in that. That's good. That's a good. No. That's fun.
We're doing fun things with identification patches.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody gets sent to the Shadow Realm, Neil.
True.
Dude, fuck, Danny, you're so good at this.
Thanks, Corey.
I've been cracking up like 4 times in a row. You must make what 78 videos a day.
It keeps you sharp, you know.
Yeah.
I will say, you gotta have really good self-confidence to edit that many, like just to look at yourself for that long. For so long.
Yeah, that's fair. So at a certain point, do your eyes just glaze over and you're like, this could be anybody?
No, I also think very highly of myself, so I don't think anybody could just do what I do.
Right, you're like, I'm built different.
They can for sure, and they do because there's a million of us on YouTube.
but you're the only one doing it the Danny way.
The Danny way.
Damn right.
All right, I got one last question for you, Danny. Before we jump into this.
I was like,
yeah. We read it was an 8-page Mortal Kombat manga based on the movie. That's it. We're gonna call it after this. No, final question before we jump into the main topic. Just real quick, can you say the word giraffe for me again?
Motherfucker.
Giraffe.
There we go. All right, let's get into this.
I don't get to say it.
Go ahead, say it, Corey.
That's disrespectful.
Go ahead.
Quite frankly. Giraffe.
God, you still fucking doing it.
That's how Corey, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm not going to change my life.
Do you remember earlier when you made a joke that the email subject was bad graphs? That's what you were saying.
We thought you were saying bad.
We thought you were saying bad giraffes.
honestly.
Graph. Giraffe. I'm not. Those don't. Come on, you can tell those apart.
I'm looking at the sound waves, and no, you can't.
Yeah, here's the email right here. Jamie Presley. The giraffes are bad.
Mathematicians use graphs. Zoos use drafts.
What is?
I don't know which one's which. Which one is Jeffrey from Toys R Us, and which one's?
Can you actually not tell?
It's really hard.
Hey.
Is it genuinely hard? Like,
I will say,
to me, it's very distinct.
Corey, here. All right. Well, here's when in NASCAR, when like one car is really following close to the other car to cut down on wind resistance. What is that called?
Yeah, they're drafting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same. When you say draft, it sounds like you're saying draft.
Because I'm saying giraffe.
I think you spend so little time on the I sound.
Yeah. And by so little time, zero time. You spend zero time on the I.
I got places to be, dude. What do you want?
Your time.is for the I is like a negative.
Yeah, he always says to me, all right, open up time.s. And I'm like, that is not a URL.
We've got a graph here that shows the time saved while the giraffe drafts.
All right.
Oh boy.
We're not going to get to the bottom of this today.
And she sells seashells by the seashore.
She does.
So I think I just it's funny to me because English isn't my first language, right? I had to learn in school. So they were really adamant. They also taught us in school British English. So not so much the American,
like correct spelling and stuff.
Right. Except for all the OU stuff. That's
fuck's sake! That's exactly where I was going. Why did they take all the steps to say we're teaching you British English and then not do like the one thing?
The one British thing, throw
like,
an extra U's in. Where
you're spelling all the words wrong, but everybody's calling their friends mate.
Yeah. So I'm always very self-conscious of my own speaking when I'm saying something that doesn't sound like I think it's supposed to sound. But I think it's really funny now that I listen to people from all over the place. Specifically, I love when you guys talk about Vegas in TMAO,
right?
Because it is. I don't know if it's a bit. I don't know if you guys just say it like that, but it is hilarious.
It's not a bit. I promise you, it's not a bit.
I love it.
Like if somebody asked me to talk about Las Vegas, like.
The Hangover episode was specifically
a lot of Vegas
full
talk.
Of it. Yeah, a little. It's so good.
Can you say it again for me just so I can listen?
Vegas.
Yeah, and I'm saying it differently than that.
I don't. Hold on, Corey, say it.
Vegas.
That's pretty.
That's closer.
That's a lot closer than.
I think it's more pronounced when Liam says it.
Okay.
Yeah,
he says more like Vegas.
He does say he does say Vegas, which I always thought was weird.
Which is a Street Fighter character.
Yeah, it's also weird when you say bagel.
I knew you were gonna do this to me, dude.
Let's get Liam in here. Send him the Zencaster link. Let's see see how he says Vegas.
Bagel's funny because that's how Britta says it in Community. So right? I just think that's funny.
Oh, I didn't know that. Does she get bullied and harassed for that?
Sure.
Yeah.
She does. Oh god,
it's a whole bit that they just give her so much shit about it.
Dude, I literally said it like that. I said it so pompously because I was like, there's no way the show ever even remarked upon it because people just talk. And then you guys were both immediately like, yeah, she gets fucking annihilated.
She does. She gets fucking, it's like, and it's a recurring thing too. Like it comes up again later.
Why does she say it? Like, do they provide a reason?
Well, she just like, Jeff knocks a bag of bagels on the floor and she goes, oh, so much for bagels. And then they all make fun of her and she's like, guys, I lived in New York, I know how to say bagel. And like that's
I think it's the same thing that nobody ever like she always just believed that's how it was said and like nobody ever told her otherwise.
I mean, here's what I'll say. Like I've spent I'm about to be 26 years old. I've spent 26 years of my life basically saying bagel. Most of that time, no one said a goddamn fucking thing to me to correct it. So I have no reason to think that I'm doing anything wrong.
Well, I feel for a lot of those years, it was already a funny thing from Community. So maybe that's why, he's doing a bit.
That show's not 26 years old yet.
I was saying it before I was first.
Yeah.
I will say,
rip off.
Since this became a thing, if I'm in like a drive-through or something and I'm getting a bagel, like I am now self-conscious about it.
All right. Well, if it helps, the reason that made it into the show, into Community, is because that's how show creator Dan Harmon says bagel. He would also say bagel. So you're not alone in this.
Okay, me and him. Right. Is he cool? Do I have to have any concerns about that association?
He did some bad stuff at one point, but seems to have sort of made amends with the woman.
I feel like he was one of the people that actually tried to do something about it.
He's done a lot of personal work on himself over the years, but
he says bagel now, and that sort of smoothed everything over.
Exactly, that won everybody over. Like, I'm not here to say that Dan Harmon's a good guy, but when all of that, because he's co-creator of Rick and Morty also, right? So when all that all that Justin Roiland
I'm learning a lot of stuff today.
When all that Justin Roiland shit came out, he was like, yeah, Justin Roiland's fucking out of here, like.
Okay. Right. I did not know that he was one of either Rick or Morty. I don't know.
Yeah, he's the one who does the show. Like, Justin Roiland just sort of showed up and did voices.
Yeah, Harmon only does like background voices, I think, every once in a while, but he's not.
I'm learning a lot today. Last thing on pronunciations before we talk about 7.5 pages of Mortal Kombat content. Does it make you guys feel any better to know that I went to high school with somebody that tried to get on my case for saying bagel, but he said H?
For what?
The letter H.
He said H?
Yeah.
Like Anne H, the actor.
I thought her name was Hesh.
It probably is.
I think her name is Hesh, and then he said H, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
Well,
apparently it's an Irish thing.
All right. I was about to say that guy can get fucked, but now I feel bad for saying that.
I don't know. Whatever.
He can probably get fucked for other reasons. How about that?
But I'm not doing that.
That's good. I'm glad. No, you're good. Listen, just to be clear, I say so many words wrong.
But I'm on pins and needles recording the show now because like draft came out of nowhere. Like that had never even crossed my mind. So it's like, what am I gonna say next that just gets me crucified?
Listeners at home, you've heard me say things like names wrong and just generally say words wrong.
This is different.
Send
than
them
names.
in. The boys at mkpodquest.com. All the times I've fucked up saying things, and I'll acknowledge them on the air and help Corey feel better.
And as a listener, Corey, I think it's hilarious.
That's good. That's content.
Don't stop. If anything, lean more into the graph.
Say more things wrong on purpose.
I don't even know what I can't even think of a word that I could think of a natural but incorrect pronunciation for, like off the top of my head. Like I would have to just do it already.
No, it has to be natural. You're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like I'm not gonna start saying like, boy, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and make a big pot of coffee. Like nobody's gonna do that.
Hey, get the coffee over here.
I need to get some coffee on.
I got some Tim Hortons coffee.
Yeah, we love it.
Right.
Actually, did you guys know? This is the last thing that I'll say about Canada before we talk about the thing that we're supposed to talk
before
about.
we play the
anthem. Do you guys know that there was a bit of a controversy? This was like years ago now, but when McDonald's was launching its like McCafe branding pretty heavy, and it was like introducing it in all of its restaurants and whatnot.
Right.
They introduced a coffee like recipe, and around that time, Tim Hortons like changed its coffee a bit, and there was like a big exodus of people going like, "Oh, the Tim Hortons coffee sucks now."
Oh wow!
But the McDonald's coffee is good, and the rumor was that McDonald's had somehow like acquired the previous recipe after Tim Hortons stopped using it, or like the beans or something. For the record, I have no idea if this is true, but like the thing that I got told was that the reason there was a pivot away from Tim's to Don's was that, though a lot of people I know went back.
Don's. Hold on.
I've never heard McDonald's being referred to as Dons.
We're not calling you out. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to get some Dons.
That's fucking great.
You guys haven't heard
No, we don't say that here.
It's either McDonald's or Mickey D's.
Like, we have those too. We also say that, but like people definitely say Dons.
That's all. I love that. That's actually good.
That's really good.
I have said the sentence before, do you want to go rip some Dons? And like meant it.
If you had told us that without any context prior, Neil and I wouldn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Do you guys want to go rip some Dons?
Like Dom Perignon?
Do you want to muck some Dons?
Oh,
hey, Dons, sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
Come on, Donnie.
I know we just finished talking about like funny pronunciations, and I said I couldn't come up with one. I swear I didn't think that was going to be a new thing.
Shit.
I'll meet you at the Dons, boys.
Hacking darts outside the Dons at 2 a.m.
I can't wait to use that in conversation. Thank you, Corey.
Do you guys say hacking darts as well? Or no,
dude, you said that to me the other day, and I've heard that before, but
you solved it with like context clues?
Well, we were talking about my crippling nicotine addiction. So
right. And I
said, smoke outside or shoot the shit or what?
Hacking darts is like going and smoking a cigarette.
Oh, because you're coughing, because you're dying. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the word you used was smoking darts, and I was like, "This is enough to keep me smoking, so I can use this phrase."
The more correct phrase would be hacking darts.
Hacking darts. I love it. I have several friends I'm going to pass that on to.
I'm going to try to use Don's more on the regular, because I go to Don's for breakfast at least twice a week, because I get a coupon for $1.50. It's $1.50 Egg McMuffin. I'm not going to pass it up.
Man, if you guys like the way that I'm talking and you want to hear like an even more exaggerated version, I haven't seen this TV show, but I grew up in an area that's like kind of similar to where it is set. And if you haven't watched Letterkenny, but you want to hear people talk like that, that's a good place to go.
My brother loves that show. I thought you were gonna pivot it to plug in TMAO. Like, if you want to hear the show with more Canadians,
yeah, that would have been smarter. But no, I went to high school with people that just sound like Letterkenny.
Nice.
So
LK Podquest, new show coming soon.
And you know what? None of us can pronounce correctly.
What?
The original Japanese this manga was written in.
Oh man, king of segues right here.
All aboard.
Mortal Kombat, the manga.
Well, I think that might be a bold way of putting it.
Yeah, that's what it's called on this website we read it on.
The manga, though. Like, the manga is a little bit, I think, hoity-toity for this.
Okay. Can I give you a little something of how this came up, Neil?
Yes. Because you tipped us off to this, which is why you have to do the episode.
Yes. You guys were talking about, like, run out of... Like, I think it was the Brazil comics, the second part.
Yeah. We were like, finally, about, like, we're done with comics.
We're kind of done, right? And my first thinking was like, well, I don't want this to be over. I like this show. Let me find something else for them to do. And I was looking for fan fiction because I thought that would be interesting. And I'm sure there's some stuff out there, but I wanted visual fan fiction. Because a lot of people do their own comics with property that's not theirs. It's actually pretty big in Japan, like doujinshis and stuff like that.
Right.
But anyways, and then I stumbled onto this. I didn't read it. I didn't look into it because I couldn't find it. I just found a picture of like
you just identified that it existed.
Yeah, and I sent it to Neil. And then within a few minutes, it feels like you just pulled it out of like a hat. Like you already had it loaded up or something, Neil. Because it was very quickly that you found it.
You're like, there's this manga. I haven't found it yet. And like 5 minutes later, I was like, I got it. Here it is.
I don't know. I don't know what internet you have in Outer Realm, but like,
I've said this before. Nobody fucking takes me seriously. I'm gonna say it again. Just search on Bing. You can find fucking anything. Anything. If you just search on Bing, you'll find it right away. Everyone uses Google. Stop it. Just use Bing. You find the weird shit. Okay? It's just. I use
TikTok now for my searches.
It's just the truth.
You use TikTok?
Yeah, you can find any topic on there now. Like. And I don't have to read it. Yeah. Somebody's yelling it at me. Now, there may be a second video playing underneath sometimes.
Danny also posts like 78 TikToks a day. Danny, give everyone your TikTok.
Oh, it's just at Echo Spider. All my socials are at Echo Spider. ECKO.
Before we get carried away, can I actually say one more quick thing about McDonald's?
Yeah.
about Don's?
Well, I don't know, man. We're on a time limit here. We're not in Don talk anymore.
But Mitch has rightly pointed something out to me because I just introduced you guys to the phrase sausage egg muck from Don's and you laughed. But he's rightly reminding me that we do also say Ron's as well.
As in Ronald McDonald?
I don't know. It speaks to the essence of McDonald's.
It's like when you're a kid, you say Ron's because Ronald's in your face.
Be polite.
Right. So now I'm not telling you that every Canadian person says this, but like people in my life and myself say it.
The cool people.
Like, I don't know how widespread it is if you were to like go fly into like Red Deer, Alberta today and like ask them. Like, I don't know, but
booking a flight, I'll let you know in 18 hours.
Can you point me to Don's, please? The nearest Don's.
That would probably get you there. Ron's might not, but Don's I think would.
Well, there's probably a Don's in the Alberta airport.
There's probably dudes named Don in the Alberta airport.
There's definitely the pilot is probably named Don. Like
Corey, I heard a comedian say that a good pickup line in Canada is, "Hey, you like dinner?"
So I saw that clip. I saw that clip as well. I've never heard that. I think because he was talking about like being from Montreal.
Oh yeah. Okay, you listen to Dynamic Banter.
That may be a very specifically like French Canadian slang.
Gotcha.
English speaking, like Anglophone Canadians are not saying that. However, it's extremely funny. Now, either they were saying it in French and he translated it, or that's like a franglais kind of phrase.
All right.
Manga time.
So, I have a little bit of background information, not much about this thing. So, what do you say we go over to some version of a Neil Nook?
That's good.
We're going to do the long one. Give Danny the full treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
So this manga was authored by Anna Kuya and published in 1996 in an issue of Comic Bomb Bomb. And it's a tie-in to the Paul W.S. Anderson 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. That's all the information I have about this thing.
My favorite scene in Scott Pilgrim is when she goes, "We are Comic Bomb Bomb."
1, 2, 3, 4. And then Beck music plays. Because Beck wrote all those Sex Bob-Bomb songs.
Yeah, and then it's like,
I
don't know a real Beck song. It's a short skirt and a long jacket.
No, that's Cake. That's Cake, dude. Beck the Loser and Lost Cause, and I think those are the only two that I know. Not a big Beck guy.
He's Going the Distance.
That's also Cake, actually. Yes.
I didn't know that.
This is a very different segment of Is This Cake than I'm used to.
Are you fucking kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. Those are both Cake songs.
I really didn't know. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. First of all, I knew that when I knew Going the Distance wasn't right, but I truly thought that short skirt long jacket was back.
No, it's Cake.
Are you sure, Neil? Girls with a short skin and long.
I'm 100%
jacket.
positive.
Okay.
Cake also did a good "I Will Survive" cover. That's not as good as the original, but it's pretty good. And in the music video for that, the lead singer guy, he's a meter maid, like he's driving around in a golf cart giving parking tickets.
Meter maid? I just met her.
All right.
Enough of that.
Who wants to do Corey? Do you want to give us a Corey corner about what happens in this thing?
I mean, I guess.
We're doing it.
Welcome to the Corey Corner. Our three main characters get introduced to the concept of Mortal Kombat and then go there. That's good. That's it.
Yeah.
Our three main characters being Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and Liu Kang. And also they're introduced to Kano, Katana, Shang Tsung, and Raiden, and also Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but all of those are fairly brief.
And
it's just like
And Goro.
And
also Goro. It's essentially like if you needed to write a book report about the movie, and forgot to watch it, you could just sort of skim this, and it's gonna get you the high level details.
This isn't the Cliff's Notes; it's the description from the back of the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, this is like you read the back of the DVD,
right?
Yeah,
and yeah,
I will say, like I know we're kind of clowning on this thing, but it's really efficient at what it's doing.
It is.
I appreciate it because specifically that, like, I didn't know what it was. I just read it this morning because I knew it wasn't going to take that long.
Right.
I'm a speed reader. No, it's just 7 pages. But yeah, when I saw the first page, I was like, oh, I know what's happening here. Like, this is our introduction to, our heroes, which they each get a little box.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I don't know about Johnny Cage. I feel like I need him to have darker hair.
He just sort of looks like a guy.
Yeah, our main characters don't really look like the actors, but everybody else looks like the actor.
Sonya Blade has cool glasses. Or like a visor of some kind.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was just the shading from the hat.
Yeah, it does kind of
from the hat, but that's a very deep hat shade,
and it's always there. It's there every time you see her with the hat. It's only there when you see her with the hat on, but
the sun is always pointing
directly. It's directly above her head at all times. So
when she murders Kano to death, she's not wearing the hat, and that's gone. So it is hat shade. I genuinely thought it was glasses.
It could be. I don't know. It still could be like a visor that's just attached to the hat, right?
In any case, I do agree that like this is essentially communicating the same story as a 90-minute movie in 7 pages.
Right, which is
pretty good.
Does that mean that there really isn't that much to the 95 movie, or
it means that a little bit, but also the 95 movie has more to work with in that like it has motion and camera and
that kick-ass soundtrack.
Yeah, like it's just like a different medium, but this is essentially communicating all the key points you need in an all killer, no filler kind of way.
Sure.
While leaving a little mystery and getting all the key players across.
Right.
But I think the biggest appeal of reading this, obviously we read a translated version.
Yeah, a very literally translated version too.
Yeah, I think just admiring the art is what you're here for, which is great because we're an audio medium, so that should help us a lot.
Yeah, I'll put one of these. You know what? I'll put a link to this in the description. You guys can see it for yourselves.
We'll make a TikTok with all the cool panels.
Yeah, it'll be 14 seconds long.
That's a good time for TikToks, dude. You don't want
it'll be a story.
You either want to go super long or super short.
How long can you make a TikTok?
Some people can make them up to fucking 10 minutes long now.
I've uploaded a 10-minute video before.
You could not make me hold my phone in portrait mode for 10 minutes.
Right?
Watch me.
Did they learn anything from Quibi? Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
Quibi?
but this is
Quibi,
free.
bro. Don't make fun of me.
All right, let's go through the specific scenes we see from the movie here.
They pick some bangers, I will say. Like they pick cool scenes to adapt to this.
We get a 3-panel version of Sonya looking for Kano at the club, and Kano's there with Shang Tsung, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a 3-panel version of Johnny Cage getting the scroll from Master Boyd, the invitation to Mortal Kombat. And then we get a 2-panel page of Liu Kang talking to Raiden about going to the tournament. A 6-panel version of the Scorpion Sub-Zero, like I'm gonna call it a fight, but it's not a fight, on the boat with the main characters.
Yeah, it's their intro, right? Like that's the first time we see them on the screen, which is super. Like that Raiden panel, it's probably my favorite thing in this thing.
That Raiden panel looks good. Then we get a 2-3 panel version of Raiden telling them about Mortal Kombat, and a nice little chibi Liu Kang there, which is actually kind of dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little, like, when they need a narrator doing an aside, and it's just like, oh, the characters are just going to tell us, here's a little guy.
Yeah.
Here's small boy to tell you about large man.
And then we get the Shang Tsung "It Has Begun" panel, but he doesn't say that.
He does say Mortal Kombat though. That's for dang sure.
Well, I don't know if he's saying that or if that's the author telling us what's going on, because there's all these little author interjections in this too.
Conceptually, this is Mortal Kombat.
Right. This is the concept of Mortal Kombat. We get the Sonya Kano fight. That takes up a good 2 pages there, right?
And I'll say this for a manga too, they didn't hyper cheesecake this with Sonya.
No, they didn't. They were, yeah. I mean, it's pretty movie accurate, which is nice. Yeah. That's the first time we get like the author adding things in the text boxes.
Right.
It says an action scene that Kuya was impressed. Anyway, it's a real move, especially for Sonya. That's identifying her leg grab as a real move from the game, right?
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, this is, and I'm not saying this as like a bit.
Yeah.
This is some of the most respectful to women Mortal Kombat art we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's very
when you compare this to the Brazil,
like hyper sexualized.
No.
Yeah, when you compare this to the Brazil comics,
God, that Brazil comic was like just some Poison Ivy 3 level shit right there. We get the Liu Kang katana fight where she tells him, essentially use the element that brings life in your next opponent, and we get the Sub-Zero Liu Kang, just like the end to that fight, right, where he throws the water bucket. Awesome panel of Sub-Zero getting impaled by the icicle and freezing.
Very dark. Like the whole fight is very dark. That one, it's very like there's a lot of shading. I don't know if it's a scan or because it just looks a lot more darker, just way darker than anything in tone too.
Yeah. And then we get we meet Goro, and then we get my favorite part of this, which is Johnny Cage saying, "Let me fight against Goro," and then Shang Tsung saying, "Fight Goro? It's not your turn yet. All right then." And I think a brief Artlene cameo when Artlene is getting killed by Goro.
The briefest imagine. Yeah, it's the back of his head.
Yeah. But we know that's Artlene from the movie. We get the Johnny Cage Goro fight where he does the nut punch, aka the Diamond Crusher,
aka the Nutcracker,
aka the Nutcracker, and it says is also an attack that appears in the game. And then we got a little chibi Raiden saying, "No matter how powerful the Prince of Outworld is, even monsters are vulnerable to crude attacks," which is just some nice commentary.
I genuinely did not initially recognize that those are author interjections.
Well, I think that one is Raiden saying it, but a lot of them...
that. But I mean the other ones.
No, the Nutcracker one.
Yeah, that was
I think when it references the game, I think that it's hard to tell, right? Because
didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, I also love they put a box of the eye of Goro, like how he's feeling the pain. Just they don't even show his face, right? They just shows the eye.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all veiny and shit. His eye specifically.
Yeah, he was smoking a ton of weed.
Right, settle down, everybody. Then we get a panel that's just like setting up the Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung fight. And again, this Liu Kang, it doesn't look like Robin Show, but that is fucking Hiroyuki Tagawa as Shang Tsung. That is like a carnival level caricature of the man. Like it looks so much like him, but also not,
Liu Kang reminds me of the dude from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. He looks like Fist of the North Star. 100% correct.
I've just realized the chibi at the end is holding an ink pen and is obviously meant to be the person who made this. And I'm like the stupidest person on earth for not noticing that until right now. But yeah, it's just like a quick rundown and then like a panel about the movie. It's like it's got the movie poster where you can buy the VHS tape
for 100 yen.
It doesn't spoil the movie either. It just like
no.
Is this conceptually interesting to you? Then good news. Mortal Kombat exists.
There's a lot more here that you can see in the movie.
And just genuinely, it's just like some really neat art.
Yeah.
And also a style that's not really mobilized for Mortal Kombat very often. So it's like, it feels genuinely novel and also just very well executed.
Yes. It's it's a fun thing to look at, right? Just to see this version of this.
I'm definitely clipping that little in the Sonya panel where she's head sistering Kano. There's a little box with a tiny Shang Tsung saying "Finish him."
Yeah.
I'm saving that for a good day.
We got to cut these chibis out and figure out how to make emotes in the Discord with these.
Oh, that'd be cute,
dude.
That's a good idea. I think that's the first good idea I've ever had.
It's entirely possible.
If anyone knows how to do that, actually Sarah knows how to do that. I'm gonna ask her. Yeah, man. There's again not a lot here, but it's really fun to look at, and I like all of these little manga things, right? Like those artist notes, the little chibis, all of that stuff. It makes it fun. But this is just a commercial. This is just basically a comic book ad for the movie, right? Like it's not supposed to be a complete story. It reminds me of back in the 90s in Archie comics and in like the Sonic Archie comics, there would occasionally be an insert story involving Archie and the gang hanging out with the Hawaiian Punch dude.
With Archie and the gang, like going to a car dealership to buy a Volvo.
No, I mean Archie was always working on his jalopy. They couldn't undo that.
Yeah, he had like a Model T or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hawaiian Punch, like from the juice.
Yeah, like it was a juice ad. It was a Hawaiian Punch ad that was in these comics as like a 3-page Archie story. But it was the same one, and they would put it in multiple books, right? So you like would always get this, or like for a while, Danny. This might have been pre-New 52, but for a while, DC Comics was inserting just like Bionicle comics into the middle of their books.
What?
Yeah, just like
that is so fucking sick. Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah, just be like several pages, like 4 or 5 page Bionicle stories, just in the middle as advertisements for Bionicle.
Are you kidding me?
That sounds right.
So you're telling me I could have been buying books and then just like Toa is there.
I don't know who that is, but
it's
sure.
a Bionicle.
Okay, then yes.
You're telling me that I could have opened up a book and then...
Well, it looks like there was also just Bionicle comics also.
Right, but I didn't know that they were just fucking putting them wherever.
Just like also, they were just like loose on the ground in places sometimes. You could just pick them up.
Also, spoilers, Mitch is absolutely fiending for us to do some Bionicle on They Made Another One. This has been a fun crossover.
Hell yeah. What's up, Corey? What's a Bionicle?
A Bionicle is like what if Lego was made by Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay, gotcha.
And also like conceptually kind of colonized the Maori a little bit, sort of ripped them off, but it's colonial Shadow the Hedgehog core.
Say no more. I fully understand what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah, what more do you need?
Yeah. Where the hell did this comic go? I closed I moved tabs and then I couldn't find it.
Neil, I took your advice and I binged Anna Koya to see what else, what other manga they had authored, and I found that they also did a Manga Boys comic special, Super Donkey Kong.
Oh shit!
And I want to read it so bad, so I need to bing that for later.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it that way. I guarantee you. Everyone out there, I don't use the AI. They put the chat GPT in. I don't fuck with that. I just do the regular old searches. You can find basically anything. It's very poorly policed over there on Bing.
Yeah.
Google is over policed, which is why we need a new search engine, the Encyclopedia.
I like I like these character portraits in this too. Like the guy playing what's his name? Johnny Cage's Master Boyd. Like that looks like the dude from the movie, right? I'm sorry, I'm talking about the manga. I'm talking about the thing we're supposed to be talking about here.
Supposed to is a strong word.
But like some of these people have so much fucking detail on their faces. But then like you look at like Raiden does not look like Christopher Lambert.
No.
I mean Scorpion Sub-Zero, like I can tell that Scorpion isn't.
That's little Frank right there behind that mask. I can tell.
For Sub-Zero,
I met him personally, so I mean, I can tell.
You think that's Lil Frank there? I don't know that
That's
the listeners
right.
know Lil Frank.
Oh, sorry, Frank Petit.
Francois Petit,
Francois Petit.
who played
Yeah.
Sub-Zero. We've taken to calling him Lil Frank. Was it Portable Jeff who started that in the Discord? I think it
Oh,
was.
I thought that was an MK fan thing. I didn't know that was something that was started in the Discord.
Well, I think it started in the Discord. So
Well, don't I sound stupid now?
I hope I credited the right person. I don't know if they listen or not. Yeah, I don't know. The art is cool. The action is well drawn, but again, they're not giving everything away.
Right.
I don't know. This is just fun to look at. You guys should look at it. Kano looks like Kano. Everyone looks like they do in the movies, even if the faces aren't completely accurate. Katana's got a hell of an expression on her face, and that she looks mad as hell.
Yeah.
I
would have lost my shit seeing this as a child.
Yeah, this would have been real fucking cool.
Like, I know I would have. Like, I would have had to find whatever these things are at the bottom that were not translated, which is, I imagine, just the movie. How many? It looks like a lot of formats, like VHS, and
I think
that's the big one.
It looks like they're selling
maybe beta.
It looks like they're selling VHS, and then the other things look like posters to me.
Oh, maybe.
And then there's a screenshot of Mortal Kombat 2 with Raiden doing the Superman at Baraka.
Time is up.
I cannot read this.
Yeah, you're right. The first one does say VHS, so that's the only thing I know for sure.
That's the three English letters on this advertisement.
But I also thought that in Japan they had like CDs earlier than over here, so I don't know if that smaller one could have been like some kind of early DVD technology.
Oh, like a VCD? I guess it's possible.
Yeah,
but
VCDs,
like I have currently in my collection one VCD. It is Freddy versus Jason. I used to have VCDs of Jet Li's The One and 40 Days and 40 Nights that I bought in India. They all came in pretty standard sized jewel case things. I don't think they were coming in tall things, but this is a nice segue to tell everyone that I got the Mortal Kombat, like it was a multimedia CD. It was a movie on CD-ROM for Windows 95 computers. And it was just like this early technology where you could just buy movies, and some other movies released under this banner were include the original Poison Ivy, and I think Terminator 2. Completely dead technology. You can't play them on any modern computer, and the proprietary driver you would need to do this is apparently so bad it will fuck up like your entire computer system, like all of your audio, video, sound output and everything if you even fucking try. So it's just like a thing I have for no reason at all. But maybe one of these advertisements is for that movie on CD-ROM thing.
Well, I can tell you this, Neil. I took a picture and put it on the old Google Translate, and the only thing that it gave me was that those the big words at the, I guess all the way to the right, say see more. Like the larger font that just says see more, and then it lists a bunch of things, but I wasn't able to translate those characters. So
well, we'll have to maybe I'm
translate?
I'm gonna send this to an expert and see if they can get a translation for us that I'll add on to the end of the episode if that happens. And if it's not on the end of the episode, it didn't happen.
Or the listeners can create their own ending to the episode.
Sure, why not? I don't know. I feel like we did it. Did we do it?
I think so.
I think so.
This is fun. Check it out.
I have one last thing I wanted to flex because
okay.
I'm not a big Mortal Kombat or even video game person, but when I was in college, the game Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe was a fighting game that was out there.
Yeah, it was.
And I used to have a day in college. I was a commuter, so I would hang out at my buddy's apartment all the time. And I had a morning class, and then I had like an 8-hour break.
Damn.
And then I had a lab at night. And I
that is a poorly scheduled day, my man. Surely one of those classes could have been on a different day.
Nah, sometimes it just shakes out that way.
Yeah,
when
sometimes
you got specific requirements.
Sometimes you just end up taking a class that like you're like, I'd rather take this with a different prof, or I'd rather take like a slightly different version of this, but I don't want to sit at my friend's apartment for 8 hours.
It's more of like I need this fucking lab credit, and it's only offered at night. You know.
I mean, my degree did not have an overwhelming amount of required credit, so I guess I genuinely don't relate to this.
Like I had to do like physics and physics lab. So
a physics lab. Mm-hmm.
That was exactly that, and those were only offered on certain times when they didn't conflict with other classes I needed. So I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, and also back then I had just joined the fraternity, so like I wanted to spend as much time on campus anyways.
Sure.
So that was a good excuse.
Guys being dudes.
Yeah. But I say that to say that one of those days I just spent the large amount of those 8 hours running through this game and finishing it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most Mortal Kombat I've ever played. And it's like as far as like getting through the story, because I'm not very good at fighting games, so like I don't think I ever beat the game when we were kids.
Nah, just crank that shit down to easy. Who cares?
I remember beating Killer Instinct.
Oh hell yeah,
Cinder.
I'm so bad at Killer Instinct.
I'm so sad that game never came back, other than that gold game that I really, really like.
No, there's a Killer Instinct on Xbox.
That's not a system I want to get into, Neil.
I'm just saying, it's right there. It's also on PC.
Okay. Listen, Neil. Stop solving my problems. I just want you to listen.
It's pretty fun too, and like anyway, go on.
I do love Killer Instinct. They should have. I hate adaptations, but they should adapt that into something.
Sure, maybe a 9-page manga.
Oh, that'd be sick.
It's just
let's get Anna Kuya to do it too.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna Bing her email address and propose this. Anyway,
that was my last Mortal Kombat thing I have.
The Mortal Kombat vs. DCU. That's like the Mortal Kombat game you've played the most. You think?
The graphs are bad, and it's a sales chart for Killer Instinct.
I like Mortal Kombat vs. DCU. People talked a lot of shit about that game because like, oh, they nerfed it and the fatalities and whatever. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Who the fuck cares? The story mode was cool in that. It was weird as shit.
That's America's ass.
The end's cool.
Yeah,
the end's really cool. Like Shao Kahn and what's his name, Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Like, come on.
And that was the transition game, right? Because that was when they started the narrative, like cinematic storyline, but it still had the gameplay from like Deception and Armageddon. I mean, a simplified version of it, but you still had like the full 3D rotation and movement and everything.
Yeah.
So that was like the game that set the standard for like 9, 10, 11, you know, and in the Injustice series also.
I was going to say it led to the Injustice series.
So,
great stories.
Yeah, I don't know. People talk shit. That game's going to be like the Star Wars prequels where in like 5 more years, everyone's going to be like, dude, no, that one's actually like one of the best ones. Right.
Well, I'm glad we recorded this, that I was there first.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Well, hey, I like it too. Chill.
No, you guys, not you.
The royal you guys.
Yeah. Society as a whole.
I remember renting that from Blockbuster like the weekend it came out and having a lot of fun with it.
I was a Hollywood Video man myself.
Nice. Yeah. I just lived near a Blockbuster at that time. I was a
Hollywood movie gallery.
Dude, all right. I rented
I went to Ron's for those
from Hollywood Video because I would go to Hollywood Video a lot because they kept VHS on the shelves a lot longer than Blockbuster.
Yeah.
So like we would go rent movies, and if they didn't have the DVD, you could still grab the VHS if you wanted to, you know, for a lot, like most of the time. So like, but I fucking rented the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Walking Tall movie on DVD from there.
Yeah. Fun film.
And forgot to return it. And they
forgot to return it.
Racked up something like $80 in late fees.
Did you pay it?
No, I just went overnight and dropped it in the box and just never paid the late fees. And then like 6 months later, Hollywood Video went out of business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
why? But they never called you or like anything about it?
I just fucking dodged them like crazy.
You would be really good at tax evasion.
I mean, I was dodging, if we're going to be completely honest here, I was dodging other credit card companies at the same
IRS.
time. So I was like real good at knowing which phone calls not to answer.
I also feel like the IRS has a few more resources than a company that's going out of business in 6 months.
I have gotten my finances in order since then. It was when that movie
Excellent.
hit DVD. So let's be clear.
We
It was when Hollywood Video went
You
out
got
of
your
business.
finances in order because the movie hit DVD.
No. This was a while ago. Like my finances were not in order in college. How about
You
that?
were like,
Is
if
that
that movie, if that movie could jump to the newest high fidelity format, surely I could have a new high fidelity financial situation.
if
Like-
they had only had it in Laserdisc, I would have been okay.
They wanted like fucking like $60 or $70 in late fees. I was like, this might as well be $1,000 to me right now. I'm not paying this.
That's crazy. It's like at that point, it just charged me what the movie would be worth, which is like what, $30 tops.
Yeah, but that's not.
Just let me buy it.
But that wasn't their business model, right? That was Blockbuster's business model. Like they were like, oh, you racked up enough late fees to have the movie, so they're like, just whatever, like just pay it off. And like fucking, I bought so many games like that you couldn't find from Blockbuster because they made this when they were trying to salvage their business model. They were like, you can rent this game, and if you decide you like the game, you can own it for only this much more on top of the rental fee, right? So that's how I got like the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection from a fucking Blockbuster complete for like $20 or something, because they were just like trying to stay afloat.
And yet you still let them go out of business, Neil.
I try. Well, it's because I bought all of their fucking video games. They had nothing to rent out anymore. The good old days. Should we wrap it up?
Praise God, the good old days.
Should we wrap it up?
I'm good. I mean, I had a great time talking about this for 20 minutes and everything else for the rest of the time.
And fucking around for an hour.
Welcome to MK Podcast. A lot of episodes go this way sometimes.
It's Gucci, as I hear.
It is Gucci. Danny,
famously.
Thank you for coming on the show and talking about this with us. You sent in several voice messages, often at our request over the years, right?
So it's like this is like long-time listener, like fifth time caller.
Yeah, but we're happy to have you on the show properly finally. And
I decided not to record this from my car because I hear it sounds like a wind tunnel.
It did sound like a wind tunnel, but we understood that you were saying giraffe, so it's all good. We're definitely gonna have you back, probably on the new version of whatever this podcast becomes when it's something different that we haven't announced yet.
I can't wait to see what you guys pivot into, because I don't like, outside of Mortal Kombat Ephemera and like now your other podcast that I also listen to, like I don't know what makes you guys tick. So it'll be really and then I feel like I'm gonna be really surprised.
Well, I'll tell you, it is a show that I think is 100% about what makes us tick. So,
it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Hell yeah!
We're recapping the Bible.
We're recapping the Tick, the animated series.
Which one?
Old Testament.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Tick Old Testament.
I'm getting a lot of information at once, and it's conflicting reports. I think we should just stick to you guys do Yu-Gi-Oh!
I don't think I've ever even touched a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
I believe in the heart of the cards.
Well,
I do too.
You want me to send you some?
No, I got enough crap sitting around. I'm actually trying to get rid of things right now.
Come on, you.
Neil, this is very irresponsible, but I just bought. They're re-releasing the original packs. Actually, this might be more of Corey's. At least he's actually you can't Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're releasing like the original sets for the 25th anniversary. So I bought a few boxes of like Legends of the Blue Eyes and Magic Ruler or Spell Ruler, what they change the name.
A few boxes.
Like one of each. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. Not like
How much is a box going for these days? You don't have to answer that.
No idea.
You can find it around $65. Depends on the set.
Oh, that's not bad.
Some people want more. No, it's not.
This is not Pokemon prices.
Because I'm a recovering Magic the Gathering player, so those boxes are expensive.
I wish I could. The MSRP for like $100. I wish I could buy them at my local shop. I can't afford to do that if I want to get all the sets. But and then they're also doing some like special collection tins. So maybe I'll do some videos on that. I'm sure people will like to see me spending my money recklessly.
Take that, AMPTP.
That's right.
Yeah, suck it.
Yeah. You can keep. I will say,
That's a Bandai, I think. Konami, maybe.
We might want to figure out how Konami feels about this whole business before.
Yeah, I mean, animation and anime, and they also need to do something about that.
Konami, a famously cool company that everyone likes.
I mean, they spell it with a K, so that's already a good start.
Yeah, right? Well, there's some pretty bad things that spell with several Ks. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Not Mortal Kombat.
Nope.
I also remember back when Yu-Gi-Oh was from Upper Deck. Am
I weirdly self-conscious about earlier where I said Mortal Kombat Comics Kickoff because of the number of Ks in that? Yes, I am.
No one would have thought about that except for you saying it right now.
I just want everybody to know it wasn't on purpose, and I feel weird about it.
I do feel like there's always that one person that there's that one detail that you hope nobody's gonna listen to or hear or see, and then there's one person that always catches it.
Somebody always catches it, like when Ron Perlman's name isn't brought up at all during a Alien Resurrection podcast.
Okay, you should end the episode by just dropping that audio at the end of the episode. It was pretty epic.
All right. Let's get out of here. I think Corey's had enough.
Corey's asleep.
I think Corey left.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I don't have to get it on every bit.
Corey's over at the Ron's.
I'm at Don's.
Fuck Ron's. This. I'm going to Don's.
Yeah, whatever. You guys want anything? You guys want poutine?
So.
Oh, I wish Ron's had.
Do they sell poutine at Don's?
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. I wish they would sell that here.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a good version of it or anything,
but it's just nice that it's there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like we had when we had A&W,
you could eat bullets. Like what did you guys do?
No, cheese curds. Are you gonna say cheese curds?
They had cheese curds, and that was like the only. I some kid in one of my design classes was Canadian, so he was literally always going on about cheese curds and curling. I was like, you're just a cartoon of a Canadian person, aren't you?
If you wanted to show up to school with a pimple the next day, just get a little box of cheese curds.
Okay, I didn't need that help. I could do that on my own without cheese curds.
Yeah, but this guaranteed a new pimple.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and on that note, Danny, tell people to follow your YouTube and podcast stuff again.
You can find my YouTube stuff at Next Issue Podcast. Just Google that. You can find the other stuff I do for comics at IRCB Podcast on Twitter and most other platforms, or just Google I Read Comic Books Podcast. And then you can find me directly at Echo Spider and most social media platforms except Threads. I'm not getting another thing until one of the other ones dies.
Yeah, we're not doing Threads.
So, yeah, that's it.
I barely do Twitter. I'm not doing Threads.
Also, Threads engagement apparently dropped off like massively after everyone joined it. So, like,
yeah, of course it did.
Someone tell me which one's gonna actually win, and I'll go there.
Yeah, this is fucking Kombat about it. This is Blu-ray and HD DVD all over again, right?
Like, tell me which one. Yeah, which one is HD DVD?
Yeah. Which one is the porn industry picking, and that's the one that's gonna win.
You know what? That's true, and it's probably not going to be Threads. Because isn't Meta kind of like
Instagram's already bad enough for even something that's like vaguely explicit,
right? So I guess we're all moving to OnlyFans. Corey, where can people find you?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.com/they made another.
No, if you just go to the homepage,
gotcha.
We should be on there. For a while, we got a deal done. I don't know.
Top 1%.
No, we just sort of asked if they would put us up there on the front.
Gotcha.
They're a lot more like understanding about that kind of thing than you might think. Just go to MortalKombatConquest.ca. You'll find everything. We've talked about we've named all my shows already.
Just another one, Strat 2. You can find me on Instagram at FinalNeilRetro. Follow my Alien show, Crew Expendable, crewexpendable.net. Follow this show on Twitter and Instagram. I guess we don't do a lot of social media posting, but we should do more of it at MK Podquest. Visit our website mkpodquest.com, our YouTube channel youtube.com/@MKPodquest. Rate and review the show Give us good ratings, 5 stars, etc. Yeah, you guys know. Everyone knows. Why do I say this every time? And until next time.
Giraffe.
Wow.
All right, I'm stopping.
That's the experience.